The image that made the palace panic was not a leaked document. It was an empty chair. At a formal evening reception, King Charles entered the hall alone. Princess Anne stood several places away, speaking quietly with guests. Prince William remained near the back, still and unreadable. But the chair beside the king was empty. Queen Camilla had been expected to sit there. Instead, in this fictional story, she had left a private council meeting less than an hour earlier, carrying a sealed folder and saying only one sentence before the doors closed behind her. "You have asked me to choose what remains of me." No one outside the room knew what that meant. The palace statement was brief. It said the Royal Household Council had reviewed future continuity arrangements and agreed on a revised boundary between the present reign and the next one. That language sounded technical, cold, almost harmless. But inside the council chamber, the decision had been placed before Camilla as a choice with two possible futures. The first option would protect her extended household after Charles's reign. It would allow selected advisors, family-linked charities, and private liaison staff to remain connected to palace transition work for a limited period. The second option would end every automatic link to the future crown. No inherited access, no continuation office, no private advisory role, no expectation that William's reign would carry forward commitments created during Charles's. But it came with one extraordinary condition. If Camilla chose the second option herself, the palace would formally protect her charitable legacy, record her service in the permanent royal archive, and ensure that the causes she had built would not disappear simply because royal authority had changed hands. One choice protected access, the other protected meaning. And Charles had known about both of them before Camilla entered the room. Before we go further, subscribe for more fictional royal drama stories about family loyalty, royal power, and the difficult choices that happened behind palace doors. Because Camilla was not simply being removed. She was being asked to decide whether the future should remember her through the people closest to her, or through the work she had spent years building. The council meeting had been called before dawn. The senior officials arrived first, and came alone. William entered with a thin black folder beneath his arm. Charles sat at the end of the table, looking more tired than anyone expected. Camilla arrived last. She knew the meeting concerned future planning. She had expected a discussion about charities, staff arrangements, and how public work would be handled when the crown eventually passed to William. She did not expect a sealed choice document waiting at her place. The Lord Chamberlain read the first page in a steady voice. Camilla would remain queen consort throughout Charles's reign. Her public duties, titles, ceremonial role, and charitable work would remain recognized. Nothing in the document removed her from the present. Then came the colder part. No private network, informal advisory arrangement, family-linked office, or charitable liaison connected to Camilla would carry automatically into the next reign without William's personal approval. William's future crown would begin with its own choices, not with obligations inherited from Charles's household. The first option, known in the fictional document as the family safeguard, would allow a limited transitional presence after Charles's reign. It would preserve selected connections for 12 months, giving Camilla's office time to close projects gently and protect people who had served around her. But it came at a price. Any continuation under that option would be classified as private access rather than royal service. Her office would become temporary by definition. The palace record would show that her influence ended with her husband's authority. The second option, the legacy accord, required Camilla to renounce every future claim to access herself. In return, the royal archive would preserve her work as a defined part of Charles's reign. Her charities could continue independently. Her service would be recognized publicly. But none of her household, relatives, advisors, or private connections could be treated as part of William's future palace. When the Lord Chamberlain finished reading, the room was silent. Camilla looked first at Charles. Not William. Not Anne. Charles. She asked whether he had seen the document before the meeting. For a moment, Charles did not answer. That pause was enough. Camilla understood. He had known. He had known that she would be asked to choose between the people who had built a life around her and the legacy she hoped would outlive the roles attached to Charles. She did not shout. She did not argue with William. She lifted the sealed folder from the table, closed it with careful hands, and looked at Charles one last time. "You did not warn me because you knew I would never agree to be judged in front of them." Then she walked out. At the evening reception, The empty chair said more than any official statement could have said. People saw a king without his wife, a queen consort absent from her expected place, a family trying to maintain calm beneath the weight of something none of them could explain. But the empty chair was only the first sign of a conflict that had been building for weeks. Camilla had spent years turning survival into service. In this imagined story, she had built her public role through hospital visits, literary causes, veterans initiatives, and quiet support for people who had never expected the palace to notice them. Her work was not only about ceremony. It was about the network of staff, volunteers, advisors, and charities that had grown around it. To Camilla, continuity meant protecting that work when the crown changed hands. To William, continuity meant preventing any private arrangement from becoming an inherited obligation. The difference sounded technical, but beneath it was fear. Camilla feared becoming temporary. William feared inheriting a palace shaped by people he had not chosen. And Charles feared that choosing either side would permanently damage the family he had spent years trying to hold together. The first real fracture had begun 6 weeks earlier. Camilla had requested a private discussion about what she called a continuity framework. Her idea was simple on paper. If Charles's reign ended unexpectedly, a small transition office would help charities, staff, and ceremonial programs move smoothly into the next administration. Camilla believed it would prevent confusion. No projects abandoned. No long-serving staff dismissed without guidance. No charities suddenly discovering that their palace connection had vanished overnight. But William heard a different message. He read the draft twice. Then he reached a clause allowing selected liaison staff from Camilla's charitable office to remain on palace grounds for 12 months after the next reign began. William looked up. Why would people chosen by your office remain inside my palace after I become king? Camilla answered that it was not about power. It was about stability, a transition period, a bridge between two royal households. William did not raise his voice. That made his response harder to ignore. A bridge becomes a permanent road if nobody closes it. Charles tried to calm the room. He reminded William that Camilla had served beside him through years of difficulty. He said her work deserved dignity and care. William did not deny that, but he said dignity could not become inherited authority. The future crown could honor Camilla's contribution without absorbing her private network. That was when and entered the argument, and had not intended to attack Camilla. She had been asked for her view because no one questioned her understanding of duty, discipline, and palace boundaries. And read the proposal carefully. Then she said something that changed the atmosphere. Service should survive where it serves the country. Access should not survive simply because it was once convenient. Camilla looked at her and explained that charities could be supported, projects could be preserved, people could be thanked. But the next sovereign could not be expected to inherit every private relationship built during the previous reign. The point was reasonable. That was what hurt. Camilla was not facing a cruel argument made by enemies. She was facing a disciplined argument made by people who believed they were protecting the monarchy. And Charles understood that his wife was losing the room. The council did not make a final decision that day, but William quietly requested a confidential review of all unofficial arrangements linked to Camilla's office. Advisors examined charity connections, private staff roles, honorary invitations, future access requests, and every informal understanding that could survive longer than Charles's reign. The review was given a name in the fictional palace files. Clear line. Camilla discovered it 3 days before the council meeting. She found the phrase in a scheduling note left inside a transition folder. There was no accusation, no personal insult, only one purpose written in blunt administrative language. Separate present service from future authority. She stared at the words for a long time. Then she summoned Charles. He entered her sitting room without an aide. Camilla was standing beside the fireplace with the draft in her hands. She did not ask whether the review existed. She asked whether Charles had agreed to it. He told her the truth. He had agreed to let it proceed. He said he wanted to prevent a future battle between himself and William. He said he hoped a clear review would remove suspicion before suspicion became resentment. Camilla heard something else. You let them investigate everything around me, she said. Charles told her he had tried to soften the process. She looked at him sharply. That is not the same as stopping it. Charles had no answer. Camilla placed the document on the table between them. You want me to smile beside you in public while they decide which parts of my life are allowed to survive after you. Charles said the monarchy needed to be protected from competing loyalties. Camilla replied that she was not asking to own the future crown. She was asking not to be treated as though the service she had given had an expiry date tied to her husband's life. That was the sentence Charles could not forget. Because it was true. The official role she held depended on his reign. But the work she had created meant something beyond the title. And the question now was whether the palace could preserve that work without allowing it to become a source of future influence. Charles spent the next 2 days trying to find a solution. The family safeguard was his first attempt. It allowed Camilla's closest advisors and selected projects time to adjust. It protected people who had served loyally. It gave her family-linked charities a gentle transition instead of an abrupt ending. But William objected. He said the safeguard would leave the next reign carrying an obligation it had not freely accepted. A temporary office could become an expectation. An expectation could become pressure. Pressure could become a rival center of loyalty at the exact moment a new sovereign needed clarity. And agreed with him. Not because she wanted Camilla diminished, but because she believed a future monarch could not be asked to govern through promises made in another household. Catherine heard the argument in private. In this fictional story, she did not take sides immediately. She asked William a question nobody else had dared to ask. Are you protecting the crown? Or are you making Camilla pay for every fear this family has carried? William did not answer quickly. He said the boundary was necessary. Catherine agreed. But she warned him that a necessary boundary could still be delivered in a cruel way. The public will not read a legal document, she said. They will see a woman walking out alone. That warning became important later. Because when Camilla left the council, the palace did not control the image. The image controlled the palace. By evening, commentators were asking why the queen consort's chair was empty. Staff offered no explanation. Charles attended the reception with and nearby, but refused to sit in Camilla's place. Catherine also refused when an aide quietly suggested she move closer to the king for the official photographs. Neither woman wanted to become the image of Camilla's loss. That decision mattered. The empty chair remained empty, and the empty chair became the symbol of a choice nobody had seen. After the reception, Charles found Camilla alone. The sealed folder lay on a table near the window. He did not begin with constitutional language. He did not mention the review. He said only, "I should have warned you." Camilla looked at him. "You should have stood beside me before they handed me 2 ways to disappear." Charles flinched. He told her neither option was meant to erase her. Camilla opened the folder and laid the 2 documents side by side. The first protects people around me, but tells the future I was only temporary. She touched the second page. The second protects my work, but asks me to cut every future connection myself. Charles said the legacy accord would preserve her contribution. Camilla laughed once, without humor. Preserve it where? In a file. Charles said it would be recorded formally. Her charities could continue. Her service would be recognized. The future palace could not claim the work never existed. Camilla looked toward the empty chair visible across the reception hall. Recognition is not the same as belonging. Charles could not deny that. Then Camilla asked the question he had feared from the beginning. Did you choose the crown before me? Charles took a long time to answer. I chose the crown before a fight with William that could destroy the future. Camilla's expression did not change. But you chose, she said. Charles admitted that he did. He told her he could not force William to inherit arrangements he rejected. He could not build the next reign on resentment and expect it to remain stable. But he also told her that he had pushed for the legacy accord because he did not want her contribution reduced to a list of canceled privileges. Camilla listened. Then she pointed to the second page. What does this really cost? Charles said the answer was on the sealed appendix. He had not opened it. Camilla broke the seal herself. The appendix contained the clause neither of them had expected. If she chose the family safeguard, all future charitable projects linked to her personal office would lose their formal royal designation at the end of Charles's reign. They could continue privately, but without archive recognition or institutional support. If she chose the legacy accord, the charities would be preserved in a royal record and receive an independent transition fund. But Camilla's extended household would have no right to use palace access, royal premises, or crown connections in the future. One option protected people close to her now. The other protected the work that would remain after them. And suddenly, the choice was not abstract. It was personal. Camilla thought of staff who had served for years. people who had built careers around her office, charities that depended on familiar contacts, family members who had become part of her world long before she entered the palace. Then she thought of the hospital wards, the literacy rooms, the veterans' families, and the volunteers who had never asked for power. They had only asked for support. Charles watched her read the final clause. For the first time, he understood that asking Camilla to choose was not an act of kindness. It was asking her to decide which part of her life deserved to be saved. The next morning, Camilla requested a meeting with William. No Charles. No Anne. No Catherine. No advisors. William arrived expecting anger. Instead, he found Camilla sitting beside the sealed folder with both choices open in front of her. She did not ask him to reverse the boundary. She asked why he believed it had to be so complete. William answered carefully. He said he did not want George, Charlotte, and Louis to inherit a palace full of arrangements they had never approved. He did not want private offices, informal advisors, or personal connections to become permanent pathways into the future crown. He said the monarchy needed a clear beginning when the reign changed. Camilla listened. Then she said, "A clear beginning does not require pretending the previous chapter never existed." William did not disagree. He admitted the council meeting had been handled badly. He admitted that allowing Camilla to receive the choice without warning had turned a constitutional discussion into a personal humiliation. But he stood by the principle. His future household could honor her work. It could not inherit her network. Camilla looked down at the 2 pages. Then she asked, "If I choose the legacy accord, will you ensure they say what I did, not only what I surrendered?" William said yes. Camilla asked whether the archive would name the charities and projects that had been built during Charles's reign. William said yes. She asked whether staff who had served her loyally would receive transition support, even if they could not remain inside the future royal household. William said they would. Then Camilla asked the final question. "Will you allow this to be my decision?" William understood what she meant. She did not want a palace statement describing her as excluded. She did not want the public to see another empty chair and assume she had been pushed away. She wanted to define the boundary herself. William looked at the document, then at Camilla, and he said, "If you sign, the declaration will say you placed the future stability of the crown above any personal expectation of influence." Camilla considered the words. They were not perfect. They did not restore what she had hoped to keep, but they gave her something the first meeting had taken away: agency. She asked for one amendment. The statement would also say that no service given in one reign became meaningless because another reign began. William read the sentence twice. Then he nodded. By noon, Catherine had been told an agreement was close. She was relieved, but she warned William that the public moment mattered as much as the private document. Camilla could sign every page in the world, but if she appeared humiliated, the story would become one of cruelty. And agreed. She suggested that no one take Camilla's place at the next reception. No staged photographs. No triumphant arrangement of the future generation around Charles. If Camilla returned, she would return on terms she had chosen. Charles heard the plan in silence. He understood that the decision might save the succession from conflict, but it had already changed his marriage. He had asked his wife to survive a line he could not cross for her, and the hardest part was knowing that she might make the choice he needed, without forgiving how he had made her reach it. That afternoon, the palace gates filled with reporters. People had seen Camilla leave the council. They had seen the empty chair. Rumors traveled faster than any official statement. Then a dark car arrived. Camilla stepped out alone. She was carrying the amended declaration in a cream folder. William stood waiting near the entrance, but several steps away. He did not reach for the document. He did not guide her toward the cameras. He allowed her to decide whether to walk forward. Camilla paused beneath the archway. The microphones waited. The palace staff held their breath. Then she spoke. In this fictional scenario, she said she had chosen to separate every personal expectation of future access from the work she had done during the present reign. She said the crown must never become an inheritance of private influence. But she also said service could not be erased simply because authority changed hands. Her charities would continue independently. Her formal royal role would remain during Charles's reign. Her household would not pass automatically into William's future palace. And the archive would preserve the work she had helped build. The statement did not make everyone happy. Some would see surrender. Others would see strength. But no one could say Camilla had simply been removed. She had made the choice herself. When she finished speaking, William gave a restrained nod. It was not victory. It was acknowledgement. Then the palace doors opened. Charles stood inside. For a moment, nobody moved. The king had signed the order that brought them to this point. Camilla had signed the declaration that defined what came next. William had protected the future boundary he believed was necessary. But the personal damage remained between Charles and Camilla. Charles stepped forward. He did not offer an excuse. He did not speak to the cameras. He said only, "I am sorry I let you face it alone." Camilla looked at him. "You did," she said quietly. Then, after a long moment, she added, "But I did not leave alone." She held the signed declaration against her side, not as proof that she had lost, as proof that she had chosen. Charles reached for her hand. Camilla let him take it. They entered the palace together. Later, at the next family council, the transition files were placed before William, Catherine, and Anne. Camilla's private future access folder was no longer on the table. The boundary was real. Her present role remained. Her future influence would not become inherited authority, but a new archive file had been created beside the transition papers. It carried the names of the charities, projects, and causes that would outlive the palace arrangements around them. Camilla saw it when she entered the room. She did not touch it. She did not need to. For the first time, she understood the difference between having power and leaving meaning. William met her eyes. Camilla gave a small nod. Charles opened the meeting, and the empty chair that had started the crisis was no longer empty. Camilla took her place beside her husband, not as the owner of the crown's future, and not as a woman who had been erased from its past, but as someone who had chosen what her legacy would be. The palace had asked her to choose between family protection and royal legacy. Camilla had chosen legacy, not because family mattered less, but because she refused to let every person and every cause she had served become part of a private battle for access. In the end, the crown kept its boundary. William protected the future he believed he owed his children, and protected duty from becoming cruelty. Catherine protected the public dignity of a woman who had been placed in an impossible position. Charles learned that silence could wound more deeply than disagreement. And Camilla learned that a legacy is not the influence a person forces into the future. It is the meaning that remains after power is gone.